They're not your typical heroes, but gangsters have always fascinated America, and Hollywood has enjoyed a long love affair with the mob. From The Godfather to Goodfellas, crime is definitely paid on film, and paid big.
Society loves its bad boys, even though it doesn't tolerate their behavior. There's some kind of a admiration or curiosity about them.
From the early days of talkies, movies about the mob's dark dealings left audiences wanting more. But television was slow to catch on. The small screen always showed the cop side of the story, until 1999 when a new kind of TV don showed up on the tube. Tony Soprano, a hitman with a heart.
Tony can be charming and lovable and cuddly and affable and then go out and, commit a heinous murder.
From its debut, The Sopranos, a drama about a New Jersey crime family, was an instant mob hit. Audiences were hooked, critics raved, and even real-life mafiosos gave the series 2 blocks up.
It has the intrigue of the Mafia that people love in the Mafia movies, and the kind of intrigue in the families and the business and the backstabbing and what's going on, and yet it also has a very human side to it.
Despite Tony's loyal following, the undisputed boss of The Sopranos was writer-producer David Chase.
David Chase is a Jersey guy. He grew up in Caldwell, and he started out in television on the Rockford Files, and then he was on Northern Exposure and I'll Fly Away and a few other things.
Veteran producer Stephen J. Cannell worked with Chase on the Rockford Files.
He was like kind of kicking around and writing pilots or movies that didn't get shot, and then he'd go to work for somebody else.
And eventually he started to get bored with the way TV was done, and he wanted to do something a little different. And he had an unusual relationship with his mother, and he wanted to find a way to work that into a show.
And my wife would say to me, someday you really should write about you and your mother as a character. And I thought, well, who would be interested in hearing about a New Jersey housewife? And who would be interested in hearing, a story about a TV producer and his mother? But then at some point I just got the idea that maybe if it was a mobster, it would be more commercial.
A mobster who could not handle his mother was a new twist. Film director Peter Bogdanovich was a Sopranos fan from the start.
That was sort of the beginning of The Sopranos. The idea that this kind of mother would affect a mafioso, small-time mafioso, so badly that he has to go to a psychiatrist.
The whole idea that David had for the show was to take the Godfather genre and hold it up to the light of reality. Well, what would it really be like if if you had a family and you had all these pressures on you and you were trying to be the Godfather?
In 1996, Chase put pen to paper to write his pilot script. Tony Soprano couldn't trust his mother, his kids were driving him nuts, and the cops were trying to break up his crime family. No wonder this Godfather was having panic attacks and his shrink put him on Prozac.
David Chase shopped it around to all the networks. None of them cared about it. None of them liked it.
Nobody got it. He wrote the script, and they wanted, they wanted younger, hot Italians. They didn't want old, fat, 50-year-old guys that take Prozac, And David just was very depressed about it.
The feeling was that an actual mobster who murders people wasn't a good idea to put on the air. The violence of it would be pretty extreme for television. So he went to HBO, which was much more open to alternative scenarios.
The cable network took a chance on the edgy script. Execs bought The Sopranos pilot, but worried that viewers would think the show was about opera singers.
HBO threw around a lot of different titles before The Sopranos was accepted as it. They thought maybe Family Guy, Red Sauce, other titles were thrown around. They were even thinking about Made in New Jersey.
Chase won the battle for his show title. Then, he needed to find a group of actors who could bring the mob into America's living rooms. In the spring of '97, casting began on the pilot. First priority, Tony Soprano, the Mafia kingpin in the midst of a midlife crisis. The auditions attracted dozens of hopefuls, including actor David Proval, formerly of TV's Picket Fences.
They had me in for Tony Soprano. And I went and I read for David and HBO. They had called me back, and I read again. And then I had heard that they really love what you did, but you're too physically on the nose. You look too right. And they were right. I mean, I don't look like the guy who lives next door.
But 35-year-old James Gandolfini did. A Rutgers University graduate, Gandolfini's accent and pedigree made him perfect for the part.
James Gandolfini is actually from New Jersey. He started out as a bouncer at a Manhattan nightclub. and then turned to acting.
He got a start in theater. His stage debut was in A Streetcar Named Desire on Broadway in '92 with Alec Baldwin and Jessica Lange. You know, this was his first major TV role.
He was pretty much an unknown when Chase cast him in the part, which was a good thing because he didn't bring any baggage with him.
What Gandolfini brought was a solid interpretation of a mobster who was cracking up.
It was a brilliant choice because Gandolfini, on the face of it, is not sympathetic. Beneath all the savagery on the front, there's an understandable, albeit fractured, human being under there.
For Tony's better half, producers needed an actress who could play a brass Jersey housewife. Chase approached 42-year-old Lorraine Bracco.
They wanted to meet me for Carmela, which is Tony Soprano's wife. And I didn't want to play Carmela because I had already played Karen Hill in Goodfellas, and I felt that I couldn't really do it any better.
A native of Long Island, Bracco became a fashion cover girl at age 19 after moving to France in 1974. 10 years later, she returned to the States to give acting a shot. Bracco delivered her breakthrough performance and earned an Oscar nomination as a Mafia wife in the movie Goodfellas. When David Chase came calling in 1997, Bracco set her sights on a different role.
I felt that Jennifer Melfi was a real challenge for me. This was absolutely the opposite of everything that I've ever done, and I convinced David to meet me for the doctor role.
Lorraine modeled Dr. Melfi after her own therapist.
I made her a lonely, a little repressed, a very, very bright, smart, into her work. Probably, for me, very successful in her work, not very successful in her private life.
Chase was sold, and Bracco won the job. The role of Carmela Soprano went to another Long Island native, 34-year-old Edie Falco.
She's a wife and mother in the suburbs. Got 2 young kids, a little bit obnoxious, a husband who she loves, but she knows is always up to something, just so happens to be the mob. It's hard to play that, you know, other than just being the stereotypical big-haired, long-nailed chick.
For Falco, The Sopranos was the opportunity of a lifetime.
She's not the most glamorous, and she certainly wasn't the most experienced actress, but this is a woman who has really paid her dues.
She struggled doing various small roles, and in between that she worked as a waitress. She had, you know, sort of these lousy jobs in Manhattan where she was struggling to make it big.
The pressure caused Edie to suffer crippling panic attacks. After years of therapy, Falco got her anxiety under control, and by the mid-90s, she was landing TV roles.
She'd had small parts on Homicide, and she was a prison guard on Oz, which was a good thing because that was on HBO, and the HBO executives kept her in mind when they were casting The Sopranos.
One of the biggest challenges for David Chase was filling the part of Livia, the matriarch of the family and the character who inspired him to write The Sopranos.
David's mother's name was Livia. Coincidentally, it's the name of the Empress Livia under a couple of Caesars, actually, in the 1st century, who was quite an evil lady, poisoned most of her family. Well, and so did Livia, David Chase's character and mother, evidently, according to what David tells me.
Still, Chase didn't want the portrayal of Livia to be over the top, and he was impressed by the subtle approach taken by 69-year-old veteran Nancy Marchand.
Nancy Marchand is best known for playing Mrs. Pynchon on Lou Grant. She was the kindly, very sophisticated publisher of the newspaper, which is about as far as you can get from Livia Soprano as possible.
To round out the family, Chase was set on finding 2 teenagers who could make The Sopranos seem as suburban as strip malls and swimming pools. 16-year-old Jamie Lynn Sigler didn't have TV experience, but she had been performing all her life.
I started dancing when I was 3 years old, started singing lessons when I was 7, and did tons of community theater, even did a tour when I was 12 of It's a Wonderful Life. And it's just, that was my life, was a musical theater.
Jamie nailed the audition and got the job as the family's rebellious daughter, Meadow.
She's basically your normal teenager going through, you know, experimenting with drugs and applying to colleges and boyfriends and this and that, but then, you know, she comes home and her dad's the Don of the Mafia, so it's a little different.
The role of Tony's troubled son, Anthony Soprano Jr., went to 12-year-old Robert Eiler, who was eagerly waiting for his big break.
I was going on like 6 or 7 auditions a week, and I was getting commercials. It was just like a big shock from going to doing like 2 or 3 commercials a year to all of a sudden I'm in like a TV show. It was awesome though.
Dad, Mom, kids, and Grandma. The American TV family had come a long way from the Cleavers. In this house, the father was no role model. Tony Soprano was handier with a semi-automatic than a lawnmower. Coming up, the pressure consumes one star.
She became what she describes as an exercise bulimic.
And later,
they took him out on the boat, and they, made him sleep with the fishes, you know?
Just to the north of Hollywood, sunshine turns fresh grapes into sun-made raisins. Add our raisins to your healthy diet, and just maybe, you'll become a big Hollywood star. Well, maybe. Sun-made. Nothing but grapes and sunshine.
Jared here with some hard-hitting Little Leaguers.
Hi.
You know there are over 12 million overweight kids in this country.
But exercise and eating right can help.
Which is why Subway Restaurants has the delicious new Subway Fresh Fit meals.
With better-for-you sides and drinks.
They fit into the American Heart Association's approach to a healthy lifestyle. The new Subway Fresh Fit meals. Okay, who wants me to autograph the baseball? Who wants a Subway Fresh Fit meal?
Yeah!
Subway.
Play hard, eat fresh.
Scalpel. Laser. Imagine becoming your own eye specialist. If drastic measures aren't for you, there's new Regenerist Eye Dermapod. It resurfaces, helps fill in lines, and decongests puffiness. So get results without ever leaving home.
They say you are what you eat. Put a plant in topsoil, you get a starving plant, because ordinary topsoil has little, if any, nutrition. Now put a plant in Miracle-Gro garden soil. Wow. Rich, organic ingredients, plus Miracle-Gro continuous release plant food. Nourishes nonstop for up to 3 months. Plants grow twice as big, and you get twice the compliments. That's nice. Miracle-Gro garden soil. Make your own miracles.
Now playing on the Vine E! Online.
Best car chase in the history of film.
Oh my goodness, thank you. This is music to my ears. That's what I wanted it to be.
How long did it take to shoot it?
It's about 6 weeks. It was about 6 weeks doing it. I directed the whole thing, and there was no CGI. We existed between 70, 80, 90, or 100 miles an hour every day.
For more of this exclusive interview, go to the Vine at E! Online.
Till now, one single letter has always been on America's favorite chocolate candies. So, if you wanted to spell out your feelings with them, the one thing you could say was, But now, when you go to this website, you can print almost anything you want. So, not only can you say, I love Trevor, you can say, Trevor forever. Even wish someone a happy 40th birthday. And with Mother's Day coming up, give Mom.
What you wish you could do in real life, now you can do at the all-new, completely redesigned VHIX.com. The all-new VHIX.com. Roadmap to the automotive world.
Joel McHale watches TV so you don't have to. The Soup, Fridays at 10, 9 Central, only on E!
In the spring of 1997, HBO gave writer-producer David Chase the green light to produce an edgy pilot about a New Jersey mob family. The Sopranos was no ordinary crime show, and the cast was not a typical Hollywood lineup. For Chase, a rap sheet was just as important as a resume. Chase and HBO execs were determined to push the envelope with The Sopranos. The pilot script was gritty, daring, and violent. Unknowns and newcomers were hired for the leading roles. Then producers searched for a supporting cast that could match the show's dark reality. David Chase found the real deal in 55-year-old ex-con turned actor Tony Soprano. Sirico's rap sheet boasted 28 arrests, including armed robbery and 5 years in prison. While he was behind bars, a traveling theater group of ex-cons inspired Tony.
When he got out of prison, he decided he'd rather play a mobster on TV than be one. So he's kept to the straight and narrow for a good quarter of a century and played a lot of tough guy parts in movies.
In 1997, Sirico got a steady gig in organized crime, but this time he was legit. Chase cast the one-time hood as Paulie Walnuts Galtieri, a member of Tony Soprano's inner circle.
The thing with Paulie is everyone's always, wondering who he's going to kill, and he's very temperamental.
Sirico wasn't the only cast member recruited from the Garden State. Chase turned to 51-year-old Jersey boy Vincent Pastore to play Salvatore Big Pussy Pompancero.
Big Pussy is sort of the confidant for Tony, and I think there's such an authentic bond that you sort of see between them, but also the tension.
Pastore was in the entertainment business, but he was not on stage. He owned a nightclub in New Rochelle, New York, called Crazy Horse. A couple of bar regulars urged him to give acting a shot.
He was encouraged by Matt and Kevin Dillon to become an actor. He was in his 40s at that time. Seemed to work out pretty good for him because he got a bunch of early mob roles.
Not everybody in the supporting cast was unknown. Rock fans recognized little Stevie Van Zandt.
Steve Van Zandt was not an actor. He played guitar for Bruce Springsteen. He was a Jersey icon, but he'd never really acted before. David Chase just liked the way that Van Zandt looked on the E Street Band album covers.
As far as David Chase was concerned, Van Zandt's cool style qualified him for an audition. Initially, Van Zandt read for the part of Tony Soprano, but he ended up cast as Silvio Dante, owner of the Bada Bing Club.
People would ask, weren't you scared, if it was little Steven walking on that set, yeah, But Silvio Dante walked on that set, you see? And he's basically fearless, and so when I walked out of the trailer as him, I wasn't afraid of anything.
Despite the confidence of his new cast members, Chase was not willing to gamble entirely on amateurs. 31-year-old Michael Imperioli was no stranger to mob drama. The actor played a young gopher in Goodfellas. Chase tapped Imperioli as hothead Christopher Moltisanti.
He's a nephew of Tony, and he's very impulsive and ambitious and rash, so often he takes the law into his own hands rather than getting advice from Tony, and things sometimes backfire.
Joining Imperioli was another actor with some mob credits. Dominic Chianese appeared as the double-crossing gangster Johnny Oler in the 1974 movie The Godfather Part 2. Chase brought Chianese aboard as Junior Soprano, Tony's uncle, boss, and sometime rival.
Junior's a sweetheart. He's a nice guy. He's a family man. And sometimes he's a little short-tempered.
To soften the rough edges of his macho supporting cast, Chase added Drea De Matteo to the mix. The 24-year-old actress spent years trying to lose her thick New York accent. Fortunately, she didn't succeed.
Drea De Matteo likes to tell the story that she was cast because of a word, there was one word that she said, and she added like 9 syllables to like a 1-syllable word. And that apparently is what nailed it for her.
They always thought I was with the mob.
It's funny because she's like this sort of Lower East Side rock chick, and here she is playing this suburban, Versace-wearing mess.
The producers liked Drea so much that they gave her character, Adriana La Serva, a richer storyline.
They just liked her so much they said, well, let's keep you around. We need to give Christopher a girlfriend, and they gave her a makeover and put her in leopard prints, and suddenly she was a regular character on the show.
With his cast in place, Chase was ready to see his script come to life. And who better to step behind the camera and shout action than Chase himself?
I thought that, like most pilots, it wouldn't get bought, and that my whole deal was to write and direct an hour pilot so I'd have something to show so I could finally get to do a movie. I'd have a sample.
In August 1997, filming began.
I was so overwhelmed in the beginning because I'd never done TV before. And honest to God, I was just trying to remember where I was going and what I was saying. And these people took me along through it. I don't even know if they know it. But I just had to look at them and follow them, and they would take me through the scenes.
We did the pilot, and then everybody just got sent home and waited for like a while to hear if we were going to get picked up. If we weren't going to get picked up, nobody had a clue. So that was a scary time.
I didn't think it would get picked up as a series just because I liked it. I thought it was great, but it just seemed like it was, but there wasn't really anything like that had succeeded on TV. So it's like, this is almost, too different.
But the executives at HBO were wild about the show. In November, the network ordered up a full season of The Sopranos. Shocked, the producer and his writing team began plotting out 12 more episodes. The pressure of the new gig was intense for cast member Jamie Lynn Sigler. The 17-year-old actress began working out her personal and professional anxieties before the camera started rolling.
After they shot the pilot, she became what she describes as an exercise bulimic. She began to work out 4 hours a day. She would do a dance class 7 days of the week, and she would just try to burn off every last calorie she ate, and she became incredibly skinny.
She's fought a lot of demons with her self-esteem and her body image.
On June 18, 1998, the cast returned to the set in Long Island City. For the ensemble of relatively unknown actors, the series was an ideal showcase. But when David Chase saw Jamie Lynn Sigler, he was not pleased. Sigler was extremely thin.
He needed someone who looked the part. He didn't need someone who looked like a Hollywood actress. He needed someone who looked like she could be a suburban teenager in New Jersey.
The change in Sigler's appearance was so drastic that Chase considered holding new auditions to recast Meadow.
That's when he had a talk with Jamie Lynn, and they worked it out. Jamie Lynn sought out help. She ended up getting counseling, seeing a psychiatrist, and has resolved her eating issues.
With her problem under control, Sigler concentrated on her character.
Jamie Lynn was very grateful about this. She's talked about how fantastic it was that David Chase is one of the few people in Hollywood who would say to an actress, you need to put on weight, not lose weight.
The actors had to look right, and so did the show's exterior shots. David Chase was determined to set his series in the suburbs where he grew up.
He was adamant about wanting to shoot it in New Jersey. I heard one of the location people call it scenically ugly, which I think is really kind of funny. I think that kind of crystallizes everything I'd been looking at as a child growing up there.
Audiences today are very sophisticated, and they can tell a backlot or, Canada from a real thing, and there are parts of New Jersey that don't look like any place else in the country, and because of that, The Sopranos looks very specific.
David Chase has managed to make New Jersey cool, which is something very, very few people have ever been able to do. I don't even think Bruce Springsteen was able to do that. The Sopranos has really put this place on the map.
That's where we belong. That's where The Sopranos belong in New Jersey.
Getting the right look was not cheap. The Sopranos cost more than $2 million per episode, making the series one of the most expensive shows on television. While the high cost of production was no secret, the storylines were kept under tight wraps.
We get our scripts like days before we start filming. They're very strict, and it's very confidential, everything. We sign waivers, and we have numbers on the top of our script pages. We're on lockdown.
In November 1998, shooting was completed on the first season of The Sopranos. 2 months later, on Sunday night, January 10th, the cast and crew showed up for a small premiere party at John's Pizzeria in Greenwich Village.
When the show started, it wasn't this big, glamorous Hollywood event. I mean, they were just hanging out in a pizza joint watching the opening of the show.
At 9 p.m., opposite The X-Files in 2020, the pilot episode of The Sopranos debuted on HBO. America met a family unlike any they had seen on TV before.
The Sopranos is the cultural phenomenon. It's sort of a juggernaut, wrapped in spaghetti and meatballs.
The critical response was immediate.
The New York Times called it the most important cultural event in the last 25 years. I wouldn't disagree. I mean, there's a level of reality and expertise and kind of visceral attraction that The Sopranos provides that one hasn't had with television and most films. So I think it, as they say, raised the bar.
The Sopranos is as much about family life and suburbia as it is about the Mafia. I think it just happens to be about gangsters.
2 million viewers watched the premiere. For an HBO original series, that was a big audience. Critical buzz and word of mouth quickly made hits out of Tony and his crew of cold-blooded killers.
I was amazed at the response. I don't think any of us thought that many people would watch the show in the beginning. It was a bunch of lunatics from New Jersey, and apparently we hit some kind of chord.
This cast of pretty much anonymous people became famous. They really tried hard to retain their privacy.
But America wanted to know more about the mafiosos next door, and women simply wanted Tony.
James Gandolfini is really hot. I mean, I think most viewers, whether they want to admit it or not, agree that there is an animal magnetism about him. I think it makes perfect sense that people will be drawn to his power and his bluster and his bravado, and also his vulnerability.
I think there's a playful, boyish quality about him that combines with that sort of big, bearish guy that women seem to go for.
He's very charismatic. He gets to play scenes with a lot of women and be sort of forward with them, and I think some of the power and the sexual allure of the character got transferred to him.
He's an incredibly reluctant sex symbol. But then you dig a little deeper and you find out that he was, voted best looking in his senior class in high school. It's just a big mistake that, people think that you have to have all your hair and be thin to be a sex symbol. Remember that.
Gandolfini was not ready for the side effects of his surprising success.
I think he's shy. A lot of actors, they're great when someone gives them the lines, but when nobody's giving them the lines, they're really not confident in what they say.
I've asked people about James Gandolfini's reluctance to talk to the press, and that he doesn't think he sounds as intelligent as he really is.
I'm no good at this, man. I'm no good. I gotta go.
While James Gandolfini feared the spotlight, some Sopranos cast members feared for their lives. Coming up,
I'm not usually bitch slapped around by somebody and made to cry.
I don't do it for men. I don't do it for women. I don't do it for cameras or red carpets. I take Envy for me.
Envy's a new weight loss beauty pill that uses Hoodia and green tea to help you lose weight. It's now improved and 200% stronger. Plus, Envy promotes beautiful hair, skin, and nails. Angeline lost 35 pounds with Envy, diet, and exercise.
I take Envy for me. Try Envy for yourself.
Aquafresh presents You Decide. How would you rather whiten your teeth? With an Aquafresh tray that grips or with a strip that slips? New Aquafresh white trays designed by cosmetic dentists to fit you. Flexible, disposable, pre-filled trays that grip and have a clean, fresh taste. Use once a day. Start seeing results in just 3, with best whitening results in 7. So you decide. New Aquafresh white trays, whitening that fits you.
For a bright white smile, new Trident White Cool Colada.
Your smile says that you're happy, confident. But if you're uncomfortable with your teeth, your smile could be saying just the opposite. Fortunately, there's Invisalign, the clear alternative to braces that's comfortable and removable for eating and brushing. Straighten your teeth little by little until a new smile emerges. Join the millions at Invisalign.com and arrange a free, no-obligation consultation with an experienced Invisalign provider. And let the world see the real you. Invisalign. Learn how to smile again.
The end of artificial color? Yes, with Natural Match, L'Oreal's most natural-looking color. It even complements my skin tone. It's the only permanent color system with aloe and green tea. It's a gentle experience, not a drop of ammonia. Natural Match Hair Color by L'Oreal Paris.
The girls hit the powder with Shaun White. Seriously, they hit it. An all-new Girls Next Door, Sunday at 10 on E!
This spring, don't miss the extraordinary true story Newsweek, The Today Show, The New York Times, and Rolling Stone are all talking about.
I'm working on the most important book of the 20th century.
Howard Hughes, the billionaire?
His exclusive biography.
As soon as they find out it's a fake, they'll kill us.
David Anson of Newsweek raves it's the freshest, most surprising American movie this year.
That's an exact quote.
Deliciously smart.
That's his genius.
It's a terrific ride.
Thank you.
The Hoax. Rated R. Now playing in select theaters everywhere this Friday.
Next up on our Red Robin Department of Deliciousness tour, these are some of our burgerologists doing some flavor testing. Now over here, this is one of our crowning achievements. This is the Whiskey River Barbecue Chicken Burger. Now take all the pictures you want, look, but don't touch the burger. Now come on, right this way.
Burger violation. Burger violation. Burger violation.
Nobody makes gourmet burgers like we do. Uniquely created to be insanely delicious.
Red Robin. Yum.
By 1999, James Gandolfini was a made man. Starring in The Sopranos turned the unknown actor into a reluctant sex symbol. But Gandolfini was not the only cast member who was struggling to avoid the spotlight. After finishing their first season on The Sopranos, the cast tried to keep a low profile during the spring of 1999.
They didn't want to have the media asking them about their personal lives. They didn't want to have media finding out where they lived, what they liked to eat. They seemed to find it irrelevant to putting out this fantastic show.
But the actors at the center of the popular show could not stay out of the public eye. Their private soap operas often rivaled juicy scripts. For actress Lorraine Bracco, making the tabloids was nothing new.
Lorraine Bracco's personal drama has been going on for about a decade now. It's been followed very closely in the New York papers.
Bracco's troubles began in 1990 when she was caught in the middle of a love triangle with two prominent actors, Harvey Keitel and Edward James Olmos. The actress was married to Keitel, and they had a young daughter. But the relationship turned sour when Bracco co-starred with Olmos in the film Talent for the Game.
Harvey Keitel, He alleges that Lorraine was cheating on him with Edward James Olmos.
Bracco denied she was unfaithful. Soon after, Lorraine and Harvey divorced, and in January 1994, she married Olmos. Keitel and Bracco got into a vicious custody fight over their daughter.
Harvey didn't want their daughter around Edward James Olmos. He thought Edward James Olmos was the scum of the earth. They had a very public battle in court. Lorraine would do things like give Harvey the finger in court. She would snarl at him.
She went public and just said that Harvey Keitel was motivated by, quote, jealousy and hate.
In 1996, after 2 years of courtroom wars, a judge awarded Bracco temporary custody of the child.
The ironic thing about the whole Edward James Olmos, Lorraine Bracco, Harvey Keitel feud is that the feud came to a natural end, not because one side really won, but because Lorraine and Edward finally divorced, ending any kind of custody battle at all.
By June of 1999, a steady job on a successful new series could not pull Lorraine out of debt.
It was exhausting emotionally and financially, almost ruined her.
She had to file for bankruptcy during the run of The Sopranos because she had spent so much money on legal proceedings.
Meanwhile, James Gandolfini was also scrambling to avoid the media blitz. That spring, the actor managed to dodge the press and marry his longtime girlfriend, Hollywood publicist Marcy Wodarski, in a small private ceremony. Fans and reporters alike wanted to know more about the TV mobster's love life, but Gandolfini remained tight-lipped.
Gandolfini has made it no mystery that he is not a fan of the media. He's sort of that classic actor who believes the less you know about me, the more believable I can be on camera.
In June 1999, the cast of The Sopranos began taping their second season. On screen, the mob boss continued to battle his manipulative mother, Livia. Off-screen, actress Nancy Marchand was waging a war of her own against lung cancer and emphysema.
She was sick for her entire time on the show, and you didn't see a lot of her in the second season because she was getting worse.
Livia was going to die during the first season, but Nancy was so fantastic on the show, and because she was so sick by the time they were shooting, it just seemed somehow, you know, too cruel to kill off the character when the woman playing it was so ill, and she was so great. So they wound up keeping her on.
Marchand did not have to carry the whole load by herself. Series creator David Chase tossed another actress into the mix. Ada Turturro took the role as Tony's con artist's sister.
Janice has a lot of sides, you know? I mean, you never know sometimes where she's coming from. She definitely is her mother's daughter, and she's a soprano.
And who better to romance the sister of a mob boss than his arch-rival? Brooklyn-born actor David Proval joined the cast as Richie Aprile. Although he originally auditioned for the part of Tony Soprano, Proval wound up playing Tony's nemesis.
You know, kind of Tom and Jerry, little guy who's scares the big giant. So, or at least threatened by it. I don't think he was ever scared.
In Proval's debut episode, his character beats a man with a chair and a coffee pot, then crushes him under his SUV.
Yeah, what an entrance. What an entrance. And the night I saw that scene, I turned to the person to my right and I said, that guy needs help. Because it was kind of unrecognizable.
Actor Robert Patrick also took a leap into new dramatic territory. He landed the role of David Schettino, a compulsive gambler who gets in hock to the mob. Patrick was best known for his portrayal of a killing machine in the movie Terminator 2. But Robert learned that a killer cyborg was no match for a mafia chief.
Gandolfini literally started picking me up and grabbing me and throwing me around. It was really interesting to get this role. It's just stuff that I've never done before. You know, I'm not usually bitch slapped around by somebody and made to cry, and usually I fight back. The character is just so pathetic that this addiction is that bad, and he can't see it.
For some new cast members, the Sopranos set was like returning to an old neighborhood. John Fiore portrayed Gigi Sestone, one of Tony's henchmen.
It was the greatest gig really ever because it was a bunch of guys about the same age, mostly Italian, which was fun. Very similar background, similar heritage, and all of a sudden, you get to hang around with these people 16 hours a day.
Louis Lombardi played FBI agent Skip Lipari.
You know, like a little social club on the set, you know? It's a good environment because those guys are all real people. You know, they're all real guys. It isn't like Hollywood show. It's more of a New York real show.
I always felt like I was going to the corner in Brooklyn and seeing if the guys were hanging out. And if the guys are hanging out, great. Then we'll stand and laugh and schmooze and talk, and then maybe we'll have to go, the camera's here, but we'll go in front of the cameras, and then we'll get back to what's important, all the schmoozing and talking.
Despite the friendly atmosphere on the set, the mood got heavy during season 2. The scripts became more violent and downright gory.
Everybody's there taking it very, very serious. There's not a lot of f***ing around with that stuff.
They had me kill Parisi. They rig up this whole thing. It was pretty amazing. It looked like a fire extinguisher. They gush blood off the windshield, and it was very real looking. I mean, it was as close as you can come to killing someone without killing them. Because they put the bullet hole in his head, and they gushed that blood, held the gun out there. And you do get kind of a, ooh, what would this be like to really do this? God, this is close.
The violence is amazing to watch, and they do a really, really good job with it because they don't try to glorify it other than what it is, the brutality of what it is.
The graphic violence was difficult for everyone on the set.
Actors reach in for that kind of rage, and then rap, and you're like, why am I dazed here? Why can't I sleep? Why can't I? Oh, because you just finagled with your psyche in a way that you shouldn't mess with. It's not a healthy thing to act.
James Gandolfini had his own way of dealing with the show's gruesome demands.
His preparation for a scene, and he's a big guy, would be sometimes, you know, he'd do stuff like this, or bark like a dog, or make, you know, people do crazy things to prepare for a scene.
Sexual encounters on The Sopranos were also intense, especially when Tony's sister was involved.
Janice has had a lot of very strange sex. One of them was actually interrupted by her mother coming down the stairs in one of those motorized chairs, which may have been overall the creepiest scene in the history of television.
The show gives us something revolutionary. It actually shows us fat people having sex, which we never would see before. I mean, that is kind of the last, you know, realm of, you know, or the last envelope to be pushed.
When the script called for kinky sex at gunpoint between Janice and Richie, the cast wondered if producer David Chase had gone too far.
Aida Turturro said she wasn't really very comfortable with that whole thing.
I didn't like the scene. I was honest and went to David and told him that I thought it was out of character. Richie's an old school guy, and this was his fiancée, and he wouldn't be involved in aberrant sexuality. What David said was, I'm not going to turn this show into a politically correct show for David Crowley.
They did the scene, and probably their level of discomfort added to the power of it.
David Chase was pushing The Sopranos into dark and dangerous corners, places where television rarely went. Sooner or later, Chase was bound to push too far and too hard. Coming up, the dangers on the set.
And every week it's like, did you see the script yet? We're more paranoid than real gangsters.
Need contact lenses now? A 5-minute phone call to 1-800-CONTACTS Lens Specialists is all it takes. And the prescription information you need? It's on your box. Call 1-800-CONTACTS. We make it simple.
Wrap yourself in youthful, glowing skin with our added ribbon with light enhancers in new Olay Body Wash with Radiance Ribbons. It's the body wash that moisturizes and turns the lights on your skin. You're showered with a more luminous, youthful glow. New Olay Body Wash with Radiance Ribbons. Love the skin you're in.
As technology advances, the world is booming with new challenges, but also with new opportunities. The field of criminal justice has benefited from many advances in technology, and new jobs are emerging. Introducing the ITT Technical Institute School of Criminal Justice. At ITT Tech, you can now earn a degree in criminal justice. We teach the fundamentals of the criminal justice system and can help you develop the skills to respond to and prevent crime. The world of opportunities is yours to explore. At ITT Tech, we know that while technology presents new and exciting possibilities every day, it's the people behind it who matter most. ITT Technical Institute School of Criminal Justice. Education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-942-0099 or visit us on the web.
Sweetie, this meal was so good. That salmon was cooked perfectly. Is that clogged again?
From producers of Laguna Beach and executive producer Ryan Seacrest, risk everything, regret nothing. Paradise City, Sundays 10:30, 9:30 Central on E!
Just a bit outside.
That was a perfect strike. If this chump were watching in DirecTV HD, he'd have seen that. Let's see how this bruise looks in HD.
For the most sports in HD, get DirecTV.
For centuries, wine has been stored in wooden casks, sealed to keep air out. Wine drawn by tap. Great idea. Now, even better. Introducing today's premium wine cask from Fisheye. 4 bottles of award-winning wine in one cask that keeps air out, so wine stays fresh for 6 weeks, served by the glass at the turn of the tap. And unlike earlier casks, it fits in your fridge. The Fisheye Premium Wine Cask. Better wine, better idea.
A gradual tanner that moisturizes as it firms. That's the difference between noticing your glow and being drawn to it. New Nivea Sun-Kissed Firming Moisturizer. Touch and be touched.
By the summer of 1999, production on the second season of The Sopranos was in full swing. The TV gangsters struggled with the graphic scenes, but sex and violence were not the only problems keeping the actors up at night. Working on a show about the mob posed some real concerns for the actors. The cast never knew when their character might get whacked. Federico Castelluccio played Furio Giunta, Tony's lieutenant from Italy.
Everybody kind of panics, you know. It's nerve-wracking. Even though we do have contracts, it is a mob show. You have to realize that, and people do die.
I was having a good time, but there were dark clouds on the horizon. You know, people die in the show. And every week it's like, did you see the script yet? We're more paranoid than real gangsters.
The difficult task of deciding who lived and who got hit was left up to executive producer David Chase. He delivered the bad news to actor David Proval, who met his sudden demise in a startling plot twist near the end of season 2.
David called me a couple of times and said, "This is a very, very difficult decision." He wasn't sure whether he was doing the right thing.
Proval's popularity with Sopranos fans couldn't save his character, Richie Aprile, from Tony's wrath.
We took him into the pork shop and, as they say, made mincemeat of him. Tony now owns a franchise of what's called Richie Burgers. Yeah, you get Richie Burger, a little Italian bread.
The body count got higher in the season cap when Big Pussy suddenly disappeared.
They took him out on the boat, and they made him sleep with the fishes, you know?
Fans were shocked, and so were cast members.
That's what David Chase says, you know. The angel of death hovers over everyone on the show.
Dying on the series was a somber experience for the tight-knit ensemble.
You get to be friends, and you feel badly. And I'm sure for Vinnie Pastore, it was even 10 times as much because he had been there longer. It does, it becomes emotional.
When you go, it's all hugs and a pat on the back, and man, we lost another man today.
It's a rare thing in television for major characters and beloved characters to be knocked off. But The Sopranos is not afraid to whack a popular character. We get over it. You just hope the actors' careers get over it.
One cast member did not have to worry about losing his job. For James Gandolfini, life was never better. In the summer of '99, Gandolfini and his wife Marcy welcomed a new member into their own family.
James Gandolfini and Marcy gave birth to their son, but no one would really know that the event happened because he never spoke about it publicly. And he treated the whole occasion, as he has everything else in his personal life, pretty much with silence.
Execs at HBO, however, were anything but silent about The Sopranos. That summer, HBO created more buzz for the show by repeating the first season of the series.
It developed a cult following almost immediately. And it was like, it was the thing to watch, sort of, everybody was talking about it.
Look at the show. They're all 40 to 50-year-old men. None of them are really good looking. And the show's the biggest show on TV.
Sopranos fever was at an all-time high, and the second season had not even hit the air. On the streets of New York, cast members were besieged by fans.
Some people had a tough time differentiating between the actor and the character. They want you to be in the Mafia, they want it to be the real Sopranos. And some of them, I mean, you know, they would get a little carried away.
Most fans, I think they when they meet me, they expect me to be exactly like Christopher, like his personality, and they're usually like disappointed because they're like, "Oh, you're very low key," or so, you know. He's not real. You know, he's a he's a figment of the imagination.
James Gandolfini was the main attraction anywhere he went.
We had gone out for lunch, and he couldn't walk 10 feet without people screaming in New York, "Tony! Oh, hey, Tony!" We crossed the street, truck drivers stopped to let him in. And I'm not exaggerating.
They totally think like Tony Soprano is my dad. It's like, so it's like when your dad is in the mob, like, is that cool? Like, can you buy a lot of things? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. It's like, my dad is an engineer.
The reruns of The Sopranos attracted a whole new legion of viewers, but not everyone liked what they saw. Director of The Sons of Italy, Donna De Sanctis.
The problem that Italian Americans and the Order Sons of Italy has with The Sopranos is the manner in which the show uses Italian American values, our traditions, our customs, and even our religion in a context that's really despicable.
They feel that the show defames them and perpetuates all the stereotypes that all Italian Americans are involved in crime in some way.
Ted Grippo is the chairman of the American Italian Defense Association.
Italian Americans are spoken of as having criminal in their genes. Criminal activities come from their genes. They're born with it. There are statements like that in the various shows. We object to that very seriously.
The cast had a different opinion.
It's just TV. I mean, and that's why it's there. You know, it's like if TV was exactly like real life, nobody would watch it. It's like people tune in to TV to see something different. Something that's, you know, sometimes not going on in real life. And it's like nobody watches that show and now all of a sudden doesn't like Italian people.
I'm very proud of my heritage. There are no gangsters in my family. They went to college. I'm glad they make these movies and TV shows. I like them. And if I wasn't in them, I'd still go watch them anyway.
In early September 1999, the conflict reached a boiling point. Italian-American groups planned to protest in front of HBO's New York City headquarters. Mayor Rudy Giuliani arranged for the two sides to air their differences.
At these meetings, we bring to them story ideas about Italian Americans in interesting situations removed from a mafia context. We bring them ideas about Italian American war heroes, founders of industry, documentaries that can be done. They always listen to us, they always smile politely, and then we see the reruns of The Sopranos.
Italian Americans were not handing out any honors to The Sopranos, but Hollywood was a different story. On September 12th, David Chase's New Jersey crime family went to the Emmys. The series garnered 16 nominations, the most for any show that year. At the end of the night, The Sopranos walked away with 4 Emmys, including awards for writing, editing, and casting.
We didn't expect people to actually watch the show. We thought it was, when we were making it, we thought it was just too out there and that people wouldn't like the people. There's so much about likability these days, and you know, Gandolfini and all those people are really likable, as it turns out, but we weren't sure at the time.
Edie Falco grabbed the trophy for Best Actress in a Dramatic Series.
I've been acting forever and ever, you know, like 15 years, I guess, since I got out of school, something like that. And this last year or so, I've been recognized on the street all the time, which I guess on some level is a measure of how many people you're reaching, and that aspect in and of itself, it does change your life pretty dramatically.
When she showed up at work the next day, Gandolfini had filled Edie Falco's trailer filled with balloons, so that when she went to get in, there was balloons everywhere. She couldn't get in her trailer.
After the Emmys, The Sopranos earned a more dubious honor. The hit show inspired an adult movie called The Sopranos.
Having a porno named after your show is sort of the ultimate in flattery.
Oh, I think that you're just very sexy when you're counting all that money.
I mean, you really are a cultural icon if you are a porn title or a Trivial Pursuit question or, you know, something along those lines. You sort of have made it into the culture. And certainly The Sopranos has done just that.
The show also won the respect of real-life mobsters. In December, the FBI released surveillance tapes in which reputed members of New Jersey's DeCavalcante crime family raved about Tony and his band of good fellas.
They were actually recorded talking to each other about how realistic the show was.
Hey, what's this f***ing thing, Sopranos? What the f*** it is?
You never watched it?
That's supposed to be us.
You're in there.
Yeah. What'd they say?
The guy, that guy, they say. Watch that guy. Every show you watch, more and more you pick up somebody, every show. You know where it's made? It's made right on 3rd Avenue in Central, in the bookstore.
Yeah, there's the bookstore. No, they do it in New Jersey, right? Yeah. Is this supposed to be us?
Not Sacco.
Sacco's.
No,
that's not Sacco's.
Oh, it's supposed to be Sacco.
Is it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be Sacco. They all sit outside the bookstore.
Yeah, they do.
You ever watch that route?
I caught it one night.
They're fun. What characters? They found these guys great actors.
It really confirmed what everyone thought, that, hey, David Chase really knows a lot about this mob family business.
Some mobsters really like the show. I've also heard that others are a little upset about it because it gives away some of their best tricks. The HMO scam that they ran in the pilot, I remember reading an interview where a mobster said, hey, wait a minute, we're doing this and this is giving it away, and now law enforcement will know to look for it.
While a few real thugs worried about having their scams and secrets exposed, the cast grew anxious as the second season premiere approached.
What has happened around The Sopranos, I don't understand. I mean, the chaos and the phenomenon that has become this show, I'm obviously far too close to it to really understand it, you know? But as far as I'm concerned, it's been all like this sort of tornado that's gone on around the actual work.
There's pressure because critical acclaim was almost unanimous last year. We all feel like there's going to be some people that are going to be gunning for us, you know, that are going to want to, you know, tear us down a little bit and knock us down to size.
The Sopranos cast couldn't count on their fans to stay loyal. They also couldn't predict what would happen to them when the cameras weren't rolling. Coming up, a mysterious illness threatens the life of one Soprano star.
She ended up becoming paralyzed from the waist down.
So I think the meeting went really well.
Great job, Abby. I wish some of our managers worked as hard as you do.
Oh, well, I guess you'll just have to promote me to manager then, huh? Oh, there's a new sheriff in town. I understand that I have to work my way up, though.
Singular is now the new AT&T. Your world delivered. Get an LG broadband phone free.
In a town where everyone takes chances.
You don't work, you just gamble.
Who said it's not work?
This is fun.
They'll have to risk it all.
Gotta make this work.
Don't chase what you can't catch. To win it all. Sometimes you gotta play your gut.
If anyone could turn nothing into something, it's you.
You know what I think? I think everybody's just trying not to be lonely.
Lucky You. Rated PG-13. Starts May 4th.
Sunday, the girls hit the powder. And we do mean hit. The best part of snowboarding? The rub down.
Is that a rib? What is that?
An all new Girls Next Door, Sunday at 10 on E!
Beneath that Borat stash is a comic genius. Get to know the guy who introduced the world to the man from Kazakhstan.
Her teeth only grow on the inside of mouth.
Watch the E! Special Sacha Baron Cohen, The Real Borat, Friday at 10:30 on E!
They say the next big thing is
new conditioners everywhere you look.
It's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Stick with Pantene. For softer, shinier, healthier looking hair. For hair, not hype. Pantene.
All the time, you feel me?
Man, what's the deal with them? Man, they ain't bugging.
Greasy fast food can slow you down. Introducing Subway Fresh Fit Meals with new better-for-you sides and drinks. It fits into the American Heart Association's approach to a healthy lifestyle. So fuel up and power on. Subway, play hard, eat fresh.
Taste the icy cool tingle of Dentine Ice. Only Dentine Ice gives you cool, fresh breath that heats up any situation. Dentine Ice. Go bold.
Joel McHale watches TV so you don't have to. The Suit, Fridays at 10, 9 Central, only on E!
How's it going, Frank?
How's it going, Frank?
Everything's good, everything's good.
It's easy to spot a DSL office. Get the speed you need with Comcast Workplace. It's way faster than DSL with McAfee security and 24-hour business class support.
In the battle against dry, rough, cracked feet, are you losing? Fight back with Gold Bond Foot Cream. Its penetrating formula helps heal dry feet like ordinary lotions can't. For victory over rough, cracked skin, Gold Bond Foot Cream. Victory over defeat.
Consider this, a 3-act mouthwash. Act 1 kills germs for fresh breath. Act 2 restores minerals to prevent tooth decay. Act 3 strengthens tooth enamel up to 2 times harder. Dentists recommend it most. Act Restoring Mouthwash. 3 acts, 1 bottle.
Even with the first season charmed by Emmy wins, critical acclaim, and devoted support from HBO, the pressure was on the cast and crew of The Sopranos. They had to prove their spectacular rookie year was no fluke. On January 16, 2000, the second season of The Sopranos debuted. HBO rented out the Ziegfeld Theater for the premiere party.
People with more credits and more years in the business than me were going, this is like a movie premiere. Bigger than a movie. It's bigger than any movie. I mean, Ziegfeld, lights going, and I mean, really amazing, amazing phenom.
The first time I sensed the frenzy was that night of the second season screening, and Michael Imperioli looked at me and said to me, "Do you feel like the Beatles?" And I said, "This is very strange."
It all seems like it went so fast from shooting the pilot, and we weren't sure if it was going to get picked up to now. I'm so overwhelmed, and I really need to just sit down and realize what's going on. And we don't realize, I mean, on the set, we don't realize that it's such a big phenomenon as it is. You know, we're just like, oh, people like the show.
The Hollywood Foreign Press liked the series too. On January 23rd, The Sopranos took home Golden Globe Awards for Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Dramatic Series.
I love that people have been so complimentary, and that's as long as we keep our eye on the ball there. The weight is only, you know, it's as important as you make it, you know what I mean? If you keep your perspective straight, I think we'll be all right. Is that bad?
No, that's good.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was easy. Can we go now?
Bye-bye.
In front of the press, Gandolfini was as nervous as Tony Soprano testifying before a Senate subcommittee.
I'm doing it. I don't know. No, it's not that I hate it. It's something I don't think I'm very good at it, and I don't know. Help me.
James Gandolfini loves acting. He's a great actor. He wants to do it. He just doesn't feel comfortable with the rest of it. He'd rather be an actor and not a celebrity, which is very hard to do today.
James has always said to me, usually over a couple of drinks, "John, I'm just a fat ball who got lucky." The demands are tremendous. They're adjusting to the fame.
Viewers began signing up for HBO just to see The Sopranos. The network pulled in 695,000 new subscribers after the second season premiere. New cast members became overnight stars.
It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in the business with fan recognition. You know, they really believe that they know you.
Walking down the street, "Hey, Davey Scatino," you know, "Hey, Tony's gonna break your legs," you know, it's that kind of thing.
People stop me on the street and go, "Hey, you're that creepy guy who brought down pussy." And I'm like, the guy beat his wife. He has got caught selling heroin, hammers guys on the head with a hammer, and I'm the bad guy for arresting this guy. People go crazy, and I sit there and go, I'm wondering about our society here, you know?
Not all the news was good. In June of 2000, Nancy Marchand, who played Livia Soprano, died of complications due to lung cancer and emphysema. Her death came on June 18th, one day before her 72nd birthday.
She was strong. She was courageous. She never complained. Of course, we all knew she was ill for a long time from the beginning, and we knew that there would be a time when this would come.
I used to carry her where she breathed out of the containers with the air in them. Yeah, she was family. You know, and there's nothing we wouldn't do for her.
She meant so much to the show. She meant a lot to American television, film, and theater. And she's somebody we all admired, so it's a great loss.
She knew her craft, and she taught us a lot.
It is a little unreal to me, the idea that she won't be there when we have our first read-through. We're going to get there, and she's not going to be there, and I am not looking forward to that.
Marchand's death was especially hard on the man behind The Sopranos.
When Nancy Marchand died, it posed a real dilemma for David Chase. I mean, because here's a woman who was very, very central to the storyline.
They had to rewrite a whole lot of the third season because one of the big subplots was going to be Tony has to win back his mother's trust so that she won't testify against him in his RICO trial. And as it turns out, she died. They couldn't use that, and so they had to come up with new material.
Chase and his writing team buckled down and got to work. Meanwhile, cast members jumped on some big career opportunities during the show's hiatus. James Gandolfini headed to Vegas to film The Mexican opposite Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts.
When Julia came on, James, it was her idea. I was thinking about another great actor, but James, as soon as she mentioned James Gandolfini, I was like, oh yeah, I mean, it's perfect.
Gandolfini shed 25 pounds to play Winston Baldry, a gay hitman with a sensitive side.
He just says that that's, finding love and happiness is all that matters, and the people that do find that in the end know they've had a satisfying life, even if they've only had it once.
During the shoot, James befriended Laura Somoza, assistant to director Gore Verbinski.
They always denied that there was a relationship, but there were a lot of rumors that there was. And in fact, when he did his next movie, The Last Castle with Robert Redford, it was reported that she showed up to the set and hung out with him, and he was still married at the time.
Jamie Lynn Sigler also used her time away from The Sopranos to hit the big screen. Sigler took a small part in the independent film Campfire Stories. But while shooting a scene in the New Jersey woods, she was bitten by a tick and became gravely ill.
She contracted Lyme disease pretty early on when Lyme disease was still not that well known. She ended up becoming paralyzed from the waist down.
It took doctors 7 days to diagnose Sigler's condition. Finally, Jamie Lynn began to recuperate with a regimen of antibiotics and physical therapy. Sigler made a full recovery and got ready to report back to work on The Sopranos. David Chase wanted to shake up his cast and bring in new faces for Season 3. On July 22, 2000, the producers held an open casting call in Harrison, New Jersey.
And that's worked with us in the past. We've had a kind of a happy history of having little one-line parts that blossom into continuing roles. And it's great when it happens like that.
People in New Jersey love this show.
Sopranos! Yay!
And when you give them a chance to actually be on the show, they're going to go for it. So people took days off from their jobs, and it was many, many more people than they expected.
Office manager Denise Barrino was among the hopefuls.
17,000 people showed up. It was just totally crazy. I mean, there was just people everywhere.
There were many more people than they'd expected, and they were teaming out in the streets, and they're going around corners, and they were everywhere. And finally, I don't think anyone was being unruly, but there were just so many people that the producers had to call the cops just to make sure nothing got out of hand.
The cops said, okay, enough. I mean, they shut everything. They shut the 280 down, they shut the Turnpike down, they shut down the Garden State Parkway. It's unbelievable.
A week later, David Chase made his final decision.
I got a phone call saying that I had the part.
Barrino landed the role of Ginny, the wife of New York boss Johnny Sack.
They were able to coax a great performance out of her.
And that's not just a walk-on part. She's been an important part of a couple of episodes, so that actually did bear a little fruit. And The Sopranos does a very good job of finding people who aren't really actors and making them into actors, and she's one of them.
For Denise Barrino, the small role on The Sopranos was the opportunity of a lifetime. But back at the production offices, Chase still had to figure out how to deal with the loss of a major cast member. Coming up, life after Livia.
There was something about how special Nancy Marchand was that it kind of seemed a little ghoulish.
And later, a brutal whacking shocks the cast.
You're just sitting there going, oh man, this is too much.
Are you in control of your curls? Got hit by unpredictable frizz? Garnier Fructis Curl and Shine, the only curl-defining system fortified with active fruit concentrate from Garnier. The Fructis Curl and Shine system penetrates deep, wrapping each and every curl in moisture for enhanced definition and shine. Define the curls, defy the frizz. For hair that shines with all its strength, Garnier Fructis Curl and Shine. Garnier.
This is my husband, Ted. He stopped drinking soda and lost 12 pounds. I stopped drinking soda and I lost 1. He started eating subs and lost 19 pounds. And I haven't had bread in 2 years. Then he started jogging. Okay, you know what? Enough now. Just stop. What are you trying for? You want to weigh 0?
Presenting Slim Quick, the weight loss supplement designed to address 6 physical reasons women have trouble losing weight to help you lose weight easier. Slim Quick, how women lose weight.
Life comes at you fast.
And Nationwide understands. That's why we guarantee accident repairs in writing when your car's fixed at a certified Blue Ribbon repair shop. So switch to us. See what life's like with a guarantee.
Nationwide is on your side.
Sunday, on the season finale of Paradise City, the girls and guys of Vegas have been on a wild ride.
I'm not taking my clothes off and getting on your stripper pole.
I'll get naked with you.
But nothing lasts forever, even in Paradise. If you only had one more night in Vegas, what would you do?
I think there's going to be a lot of drama.
Don't miss the hottest night of all, with the most shocking ending, on the season finale of Paradise City, Sunday at 10:30, 9:30 Central, only on E!
What good is an SUV that can go everywhere if you can't afford to go anywhere? At 28 miles per gallon highway, the Subaru Outback has better fuel efficiency than any midsize SUV and the safety of all-wheel drive standard.
Every day is a winding road. I get a little bit closer.
Lease the Outback for $239 per month during the Subaru all-wheel deal sales event.
If you talk with dentists, they'll tell you that acid wear is a growing problem. Acidic drinks, like fruit juices, like wine, can actually soften the enamel of the tooth. The dentist may see the thinning of the enamel. Once it's gone for good. If people like to drink orange juice and other acidic drinks, they should use a straw, minimizing the contact with the tooth. Using a product like Sensodyne Pronamel can really help. It's been specially developed to not only address sensitivity, but to re-harden softened enamel.
Get the first and last word before the opening bell. Tune in weekdays at 6 a.m. for Morning Call with Brian Sullivan for the edge you need.
By the summer of 2000, the cast of The Sopranos suffered devastating personal setbacks. Jamie Lynn Sigler was recovering from temporary paralysis, and the show's matriarch Nancy Marchand passed away. Series creator David Chase could not look back. He had a show to deliver. After the death of Nancy Marchand, Chase faced a difficult decision. What would happen with Livia?
We think we've kind of got a way to work it into the plot. The death of Livia. Oh, I can't tell you that, but she's going to die.
Chase felt Tony needed one final encounter with his mother before her death. The creator approached Rhinoceros Visual Effects and Design to bring Livia back for her last shoot.
What they did was sort of unseen on TV before. They used unedited footage of her and put it into the new season, and they were able to splice her in.
But the digitally manipulated scenes looked strange and unnatural.
A lot of people really were not comfortable with it, but you know, I don't think they really had much choice.
In terms of sensitivity, a lot of people were aghast. You know, how can you put a dead person into the show? I mean, that's so crass.
With another actress, maybe we wouldn't have minded, but I think there was something about how special Nancy Marchand was that it kind of seemed a little ghoulish. Dramatically, they needed to do it. If you like something, you kind of cut them some slack, and I think that's what the audiences did.
With the Tony and Livia storyline no longer an option, Chase and his team of writers were forced to come up with a different angle for the series.
To a certain extent, it's going to focus a little bit more on the kids. That's the plan, anyway.
Season 3 was ultimately about Tony and Carmela as parents and their relationship to their children.
Tony's daughter leaves the nest to attend Columbia University. Actress Jamie Lynn Sigler enjoyed the new dimension of her role.
My character, she grows up a little. She goes out on her own a little more, and I think the farther she goes away from home, the more she realizes how much she loves her parents and the closer she gets, which is nice for me. I like to have good scenes with Jim and Edie as opposed to those screaming matches we always have.
Behind the scenes, there were some heated discussions about who belonged in the family and who did not.
We have some new characters we're introducing, and some people will probably get killed.
John Fiore was the first to get a visit from the Reaper.
David Chase had called me at home, and I said, why is he calling me at home? Must be for good news, I thought. And he said, "This is a call I hate to make." I went, "Oh boy, I know what that meant."
Fiore's character, Gigi Sestone, died from a heart attack while he was sitting on the can.
You gotta go somehow, right? What the heck? You know? But it is memorable. The most memorable death yet. I mean, anybody can be shot, strangled, thrown off a bridge, thrown in the ocean. It takes a real man to go out in the toilet.
Tony Soprano replaced Gigi with Ralph Cifaretto, played by 46-year-old actor Joe Pantoliano. A native of Hoboken, New Jersey, Joey Pants was familiar with the local crime scene.
I had a stepfather who was in and out of trouble his whole life. He was a nice guy. He was like my hero and helped me to find, find my dream, or fulfill my dream. But this is a guy that broke the law and did what he wanted to do and didn't care about the consequences and paid his, and went to jail when he got caught.
Joey Pants was previously known for his ruthless role as a pimp in Risky Business and a turncoat in The Matrix. Ralphie's shifty character was not much different.
The fun of it is to get the audience to really start having a love affair with Ralphie and then throw ice-cold water into their face and go, "My God, what a monster."
Next, Chase went looking for a new boyfriend for Meadow. The role of Jackie Aprile Jr. was filled by a 23-year-old from Yonkers, Jason Serbone. But his character only lasted 12 episodes before getting whacked.
He was not happy when he found out that he was going to be rubbed out. And who would want to leave that show? I mean, it's a chance of a lifetime.
Characters were dropping left and right. David Chase knew some fans would be outraged, but he was willing to take the risk.
It's like watching a train wreck. Nothing good is going to come to any of these people. People are compelled to watch, but they're all despicable characters.
Despicable, yet noteworthy. The Sopranos raked in 18 Emmy nominations for their efforts season 2.
When you have award committees looking to nominate shows, obviously they're going to turn to The Sopranos. This is a show that the talent themselves in Hollywood love. They are addicted to this.
Something about these actors that people relate to them, I think, and recognize them in some way, and feel like them, or feel they know someone like them. Starting with Jim, he's every guy, despite all the horrible things he may do.
On September 10th, 2000, Gandolfini walked away with his first Emmy statue for Best Actor in a Dramatic Series.
I was very surprised. I was shocked. I didn't think it was, if it wasn't for the first year, I didn't think it would happen. Thank you, that was painless. Thank you.
While Gandolfini got used to seeing that Emmy on his mantle, co-star Jamie Lynn Sigler earned her own badge of honor in December 2000.
Jamie Lynn had been staying down at a Miami hotel with her mother. And she and her mother were starting to go to bed, and she heard these cries from a woman in the next room.
At first, Jamie thought the sounds were coming from a noisy party, but she quickly realized someone was in danger.
Then she decided, you know what, I need to go take care of this. And her mother was like, please don't go, just stay in here. Instead, Jamie Lynn, she went out and she saw an 18-year-old woman trying to escape from a hotel room and this man pulling her back in. Jamie Lynn ended up grabbing the woman, and the man shut himself in the room. She called hotel security, and the man ended up getting arrested and prosecuted for sexual assault.
Jamie was the hero who stopped that crime, but her little brother on screen was about to get into some real-life trouble. Coming up, AJ gets busted.
When the police showed up, he said, don't worry about me, I'm a millionaire, I'll get us out of this.
Want shine so hot it gives you chills? The Ice Shine collection from Pantene. Get twice the icy shine. Because the cooler the shine, the hotter the look. Pantene Ice Shine.
Hey, Jenny, listen, I'm not fat anymore, but my friend Valerie Bertinelli is.
Hello, standing right here.
Oh, no, she's gonna love you. Your program was so easy for me to stick with that I lost 75 pounds. No, she's not fat like I was. She's just sort of fat.
Tell her I want to lose 30 pounds.
You tell her.
Oh, no, too shy.
Shy? You're losing weight in front of millions of people.
I am?
Now lose 20 pounds for $20 plus the cost of food. Call 1-800-JENNY-20 today.
Valerie, say something. Have you called Jenny yet? See, that was good. She's gonna work out fine.
Sometimes I look in the mirror and I think, geez, whose skin is that? So I use L'Oreal's Age Perfect Pro Calcium Moisturizer. I take calcium every day to make me stronger. This does the same kind of thing for my skin. It makes my fragile skin tone, redensified. Age Perfect Pro Calcium by L'Oreal.
After I brush my teeth, I feel like I just left the dentist's office.
It's true. You can actually feel Crest Pro Health's active clean crystals cleaning.
I feel like I just come from the dentist.
It's all part of Crest Pro Health's patented polyfluoride system. It's why Crest Pro Health is the only all-in-one toothpaste that protects against all these areas dentists check most for a healthy smile.
I was surprised. I felt
like I just stepped out of the dentist's office.
Healthy, beautiful smiles for life. Also look for Crest Pro Health Rinse.
Travelocity presents The Roaming Gnome, denouncer of travel myths. Our first myth, all travel sites are the same.
No way. Only Travelocity guarantees the whole shebang. Your trip, your stay, and of course, your price.
Myth 2, things disappear in the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, come on. You'd have to be an absolute goof to believe.
Only Travelocity guarantees not just the price, but your entire travel experience. Travelocity, you'll never roam alone.
The girls hit the powder with Shaun White. Seriously, they hit it. And all new Girls Next Door, Sunday at 10 on E!
I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, pretty bubbles in the air.
Shower your skin in luxury with our richest blend of cream and natural oil. Introducing new Dove Cream Oil Body Washes for velvety soft skin. The ultimate moisture from Dove.
Why does that bother you?
Why does it bother me? So easy a caveman can do it?
Well, it's just a commercial.
Okay. Well, what if it said, Geico.com, so easy a therapist can do it?
Well, that commercial wouldn't make sense to me.
Why not?
Well, therapists are...
Are what? Smart? My mother's calling. I'll put it on speaker.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
In the spring of 2001, the highly anticipated third season of The Sopranos was ready for air and filled with surprises. Executive producer David Chase braced himself for criticism about random cast killings and brutal storylines. On March 4th, 2001, The Sopranos premiered its 27th episode at New York's Radio City Music Hall.
It's great to be here and alive for another year.
We started off in a screening room in a pizza place. And look where we are now.
The show drew 11.3 million viewers, rivaling the audience for major broadcast networks. As the ratings grew, so did the controversy. Violence on The Sopranos was going to extremes, and Dr. Melfi became a victim.
There have been a lot of episodes of The Sopranos that have immediately become water cooler conversation the next day. One of them is when is the rape of Dr. Melfi. That episode was so shocking. No one could have ever seen that coming, and they showed it. They showed it in pretty graphic detail.
She was raped on the stairwell, and it was just so painful to see her being dragged down the stairs, to see her actually beaten. And Lorraine Bracco, as a result of that scene, actually injured her shoulder and had to have surgery on it afterwards.
What was sort of fascinating about the way David Chase played that whole plot line out was that, unlike other dramatic series which kind of tie up loose ends, they never arrested the rapist.
She had this great power in her hand, which is all she had to do was tell Tony Soprano, and the rapist would be murdered, and that would be that. And of course, she didn't exercise that power.
Everybody's very, very upset that we didn't get the rapist. They're very annoyed that we did not tell Tony. Very, very upset with me for that.
Just 2 weeks later, audiences were dealt an even harsher blow.
Another episode that really took viewers by surprise was when the character Ralphie, played by Joe Pantaleone, bludgeoned to death one of the strippers at the Bing.
We all winced as we read that. We're all just sitting there going, oh man, this is too much, isn't it? You know? Because it really seemed real nasty toward women.
That's about as low as I think the show has gotten. Usually the people who die deserve it in some way or other, but here was this girl who was pregnant with his baby, really hadn't done anything wrong except, you know, making the mistake of dating Ralphie.
They put her into like 7 hours of prosthetic makeup, so she was walking around like we were doing Village of the Damned, you know, so it was really lighthearted and fun. And then when they cut it all together, it was very disturbing to watch.
It was so shocking that even the other characters, including Tony and Paulie and Silvio, they were disgusted and shocked by Ralphie's behavior, and clearly so was the audience.
That kind of in-your-face stuff is really startling, but that stuff exists.
They always say, when's Tony gonna whack you? How could you beat that poor girl up that way? And women, after that episode, women started flirting with me more. It was really something. It's very telling.
David Chase says that he felt people were having this love fest with the Sopranos. Oh, how warm and fuzzy and wonderful. And he wanted to remind them that this was not some nice, sweet family. This was a bunch of real, low-down, criminal, evil, horrible people.
Once again, Italian-American groups were up in arms.
I received phone calls from women around the country. A few of them were virtually in tears, talking about how ugly this was and how they can't understand how American society can let this kind of television appear.
But the Sopranos family defended their work.
It's ridiculous. People could watch what they watch. If you don't like it, shut your television. No one's forcing you to watch Sopranos, you know? If it's making you look bad, does your family act like that? If not, then go on. Raise your family the way you want. You know what I'm saying?
I understand people not wanting to watch language like that or scenes like that or violence. You know, it's not that I don't understand it. But thank God we live in America, and I'll hold up that First Amendment as long and as loud as I need to.
It's a TV show. It's make-believe. Of course, some of the things don't portray Italians in a favorable light. But by the same token, Italians are very captivating.
What they overlook is there's an Italian-American prosecutor, there's an Italian-American psychiatrist.
People often say, well, you know, what about Dr. Melfi? You know, she's an Italian-American, she's a woman, she's a psychiatrist. And I say, yes, she's also an alcoholic who tells her own psychiatrist that she hates all her patients.
These are token individuals. I don't think there's any balance to the show at all.
The Chicago-based American-Italian Defense Organization decided to fire back at Tony and his crew.
There is a clause in the Illinois Constitution that says that it's wrong to defame a person and his religion, race, and ethnicity. And it's wrong to do so using the public airways. So the American-Italian Defense Association filed a suit in the Illinois courts saying that The Sopranos was in violation of the Illinois Constitution.
We brought a lawsuit against Time Warner. And the lawsuit merely asked the court or a jury to determine if and to declare if The Sopranos violates the Illinois Constitution.
They never wanted to get the show off the air. They did want to draw attention to the fact that the show presents Italian Americans in a very unflattering light, and this is wrong.
The Illinois court system did not agree, and the suit was dismissed.
We appealed it all the way up to the Illinois Supreme Court, and we were not successful in that way. But we did indicate our response, and we raised the level of consciousness, the debate, if you will.
While the debate raged on, Jamie Lynn Sigler was showing off her gentler vocal talents. On May 3rd, 2001, the actress opened in the title role of Cinderella at New York's Madison Square Garden.
It's a completely different experience. I mean, I love film, and I love my cast, and I love everybody so much, but there's nothing like doing a live performance, having the audience right there and hearing their reactions. That's what I live for. I love being on stage.
Sigler was not the only soprano who could sing. On June 5th, Dominic Chianese released a CD appropriately entitled Hits on the Montreal-based Madison label.
As a kid, we went on the Gilbert and Sullivan tour, traveled about 15 to 20 states, and I remember I said, someday I'd like to do this again. Dreams are personal things. We hold on to our dreams. We don't tell anybody, but this is one that came true.
Dominic puts so much heart into his singing that you can't help but be won over by it. I mean, I never thought, you know, I would be someone who would line up to hear Italian songs sung in cabaret, but you go, and it's really kind of great.
But the youngest soprano was hitting a sour note in real life. On July 4th, 2001, police picked up 16-year-old Robert Eiler.
Robert Eiler was arrested on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. He was out with some buddies, and they robbed a couple of teenagers on the street of $42.
They were later caught just hanging out on a bench not far from where the crime occurred. They were arrested. He was charged with possession of marijuana as well as second-degree robbery. And reports say that when the police showed up, he said, "Don't worry about me, I'm a millionaire, I'll get us out of this."
Robert's a kid, and kids do dumb things, but the press jumped all over it, and of course they would. I mean, it's a kid playing a mobster's kid, you know, just you know, getting in a little bit of trouble. Of course that's going to be hyped.
Eiler pleaded not guilty and was released on $2,500 bail pending trial. the young actor was looking at serious prison time. If convicted, Eiler faced 15 years behind bars.
He's a 16-year-old kid. This is a lot of pressure for him.
Coming up, Wanted, Dead or Alive.
It pictured The Sopranos, and it just said, tell us where bin Laden is and forget about it.
We know your dirty little secret. Your mop. Get to know the cleaner way to clean with the Libman Wonder Mop. The mop head is machine washable. Only from Libman, family made since 1896.
I was stuck, not really knowing what to do with my life. One day I was watching TV and I saw an ITT Tech commercial and decided to make an appointment. I'm a network center tech, providing customer service at one of the largest telecommunications companies in the nation. At ITT Tech, I gained an education in electronics with really good instructors. It was the best decision I've ever made. After graduation, I was married and started my career. Through hard work, I was able to afford my own home. My wife can stay at home and raise our son, and I have another baby coming on the way. Having an education has broadened my accomplishments, and every morning I wake up knowing that it's just the beginning.
We are educators helping people build a foundation for the rest of their lives. ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. Call 1-800-942-0099 or visit us on the web. Get an education that can help you reach your goals. ITT Tech has information on financial aid programs for those who qualify. Call 1-800-942-0099 today.
For a bright white smile, new Trident White Cool Colada.
E presents this flavor of the month. Halle Berry is back on the big screen, melting hearts in the thriller Perfect Stranger. But did you know Halle can sing? Yes, she can. And she's recorded an album due out later this year. For the latest in entertainment, watch E! News. This flavor of the month brought to you by the new Kit Kat Blizzard from Dairy Queen. Do one. The girls and guys of Vegas have been on a wild ride, but nothing lasts forever, even in paradise. Don't miss the season finale of Paradise City, Sunday at 10:30 on E!
Till now, one single letter has always been on America's favorite chocolate candies. So if you wanted to spell out your feelings with them, the one thing you could say was, But now, when you go to this website, you can print almost anything you want. So not only can you say, I love Trevor, you can say, Trevor forever. Even wish someone a happy 40th birthday. And with Mother's Day coming up, give
For the finest in roofing, siding, gutter, and window installation, nobody beats the Siding King. Our service and quality can't be beat. No job is too big or too small. We also power wash and fix minor repairs. So whether it's roofing, siding, gutter, or windows, the Siding King offers competitive prices and quality workmanship with a quick turnaround time. Check us out at either location, 615 Howe Avenue, Shelton, or 427 Naugatuck Avenue, Milford.
Come and see us or call us at the Siding King.
Kale watches TV so you don't have to. The Soup, Fridays at 10, 9 Central, only on E!
After being arrested on robbery charges, the youngest star of The Sopranos pleaded not guilty on August 30th, 2001. 16-year-old Robert Eiler's court date was set for the following spring. But just 11 days later, his troubles were overshadowed by a horrific national tragedy. On September 11, 2001, New York City's World Trade Center came under terrorist attack. Most of the Sopranos cast and crew were native New Yorkers, and the terrible event impacted them deeply.
It affected my life, and it was, for a while, it just seemed like everything was unimportant except, your loved ones, basically, and their safety. Any job, or, just seemed kind of like, just like not important in the wake of that.
Soon after September 11th, jokes about the perpetrators began circulating on the internet. One photograph was captioned, "We'll do the job."
It pictured The Sopranos, and it just said, tell us where bin Laden is and forget about it. So the fantasy was that they know how to get people. They know how to get rid of them, at least, and this is what we want to do to bin Laden. In some ways, it's interesting because it's turning Tony Soprano into an American hero.
The cast was determined to honor the real heroes by appearing at the Leary Firefighters Foundation benefit in New York.
It's a horrific horrific situation, but as our mayor says, we got to get back, we got to find the courage, the strength, and be brave. And that's what tonight is all about.
The celebrities want to come out, and the celebrities want to put their hands in their pocket. If we can do more of these, you know, we'll get the city back on its feet. So it's up to us.
It's very important, you know. It's the least we can do is to show up, to show our support for people whose job I can't imagine what they do. And I'm very grateful, so I'm here.
The Sopranos family returned to the set on October 15th to begin shooting the 4th season.
We weren't sure what we should do. You know, I mean, as anyone, it's kind of hard to know when you're supposed to go back to work, when you're supposed to try and go back to normal, so to say. But we felt after a while that it was actually probably a good thing for all of us to do.
Getting back to normal proved difficult for the cast.
9/11 kind of was weird. I think even for everybody getting back into it. Also, we're here, you know what I mean? We were all, you know, extremely affected by it.
I lived not nearby the World Trade Center, so that was a big weird thing. So coming back was a little strange because we were all obviously so affected by that, and you know, it's definitely a strange mood.
The creative staff addressed the tragedy on screen as well.
The Sopranos, like the rest of the country, had to react to September 11th after it happened. We saw them take out the World Trade Center from the opening credits of The Sopranos. They also acknowledged the tragedy implicitly in the first few episodes of that season.
They rewrote a good part of the 4th season to reflect the changing mood of the country, and there's material in there where Tony talks about the towers falling and where Carmela talks about the possibility that anybody could die on any day.
The theme was betrayal. Who can you trust? And not even your wife. And people are thinking about betraying other people throughout the entire season there.
The Sopranos took a much darker turn, if that was even possible, but it became sort of more dark, more realistic. And the theme of fear became very prevalent in that season, where it became fear of security, fear, financial fears, fear of losing control. And the shadow of September 11th definitely played a part in that.
While some primetime shows toned down the violence after 9/11, the writers and producers made sure brutality was still part of The Sopranos' dark world. James Gandolfini and Joey Pantoliano came together to shoot a gruesome farewell scene.
Here comes Tony, and he beats Ralphie to death in the kitchen in a manner very similar to the way Ralphie murdered the stripper.
And then he calls Christopher over to dismember Ralphie, and they put him in the bathtub, and they saw off his head, they saw off his hands, they cut his body into bits, and then they dispose of the body. It's shown in incredibly graphic detail. You see Tony holding up Ralphie's head.
It would be months before viewers learned of Ralphie's demise. In the meantime, actor Joey Pants kept a sense of humor about his departure from the series.
A lot easier to stick him in a bowling bag. And then he's got the hands so he can play with the ball. You know, it's nice. I thought it was a very thoughtful gesture.
This was very unglamorous, very gruesome, you know, as much detail as you can possibly get, and it was sort of a reminder of, this is not a glamorous show, these are not nice people, this is a very rough business that they're in, and this is the kind of guy that Tony is.
No matter how grisly The Sopranos got, the Television Academy loved Tony and his family. In 2001, The Sopranos earned 22 Emmy nominations. At the awards ceremony on November 4th, HBO's Hit Machine won 4 statuettes. Best Writing, Best Makeup, James Gandolfini for Best Actor, and Edie Falco as Best Actress.
This is a group ensemble thing that it's important to me to support and be a part of.
After the celebration, the cast returned to the set to continue shooting Season 4. But Sopranos fans, anxious to see these new episodes, would have their patience and loyalty severely tested. Coming up, what are you looking at?
She appeared nude. She decided to take it all off.
Seriously, right. Wow, look who's here.
I know. This time last month, I'd never have made it. But my doctor gave me a birth control pill called Yaz. I told her how I was an emotional wreck a week or so before my period. I thought I had PMS, so I tracked my symptoms, and my doctor told me that's not PMS, that's PMDD.
Unlike PMS, symptoms of PMDD are severe enough to actually interfere with your life.
It's on the Yaz website.
DRSP is a different kind of hormone that may increase potassium, so you shouldn't take Yaz if you have kidney, liver, or adrenal disease because this could cause serious heart and health problems. Tell your doctor if you're on daily long-term treatment for a chronic condition like cardiovascular disease or chronic inflammatory disease. The pill does not protect against HIV or STDs. Serious risks include blood clots, stroke, and heart attacks, so women, especially over 35, shouldn't smoke because it increases these risks.
Wow, you really know your stuff.
I didn't go to medical school for nothing.
Show off.
Seriously, track your symptoms, talk to your doctor, and ask if Yaz is right for you.
Perfect. There it is. Love it. Great. Got it. Let's go check out the shots.
I think David's really gonna like these.
How's the shoot going?
Good. Aren't these great?
With Big Print U from Ritz Kits and Wolf Camera, it is all about you because you can choose. Don't settle for regular prints. With your choice of 4 exciting styles and sizes, Big Print U is the new standard for digital prints.
You know, Carmen, it's all about you. I love them.
A 4-star hotel in Chicago? I'm on it. Got a guy, needs a deal on a room.
It's $200 a night.
Sometimes doing the wrong thing can feel so right. Close your eyes. We both know you got empty rooms up there.
Well, I guess I could do $99 a night.
You're so naughty.
Save up to half off on hotels at Priceline.
Britain's favorite celebrity newlyweds are coming to E! This April.
I'll go to surprise for you tonight.
Katie and Peter premieres Saturday, April 21st with a special marathon starting at 2 on E!
Where are we? Relax. My new Altima has satellite navigation. It even shows where traffic is.
That could come in handy.
So does the push-button start.
It comes with that?
And Bluetooth technology.
So you can use your cell phone hands-free.
Yep. And there's my man.
Change is good.
I've got to get a Nissan Altima.
The next generation of Nissan Altima sets the new standard.
Introducing the Triple Prime Burger, made with prime tenderloin, ribeye, and sirloin, ground fresh.
It eats like steak and cuts like butter.
The new Triple Prime Burger, Ruby Tuesday.
At Shell, we're constantly testing to prove there is a difference in gasolines. While low-quality discount gas can allow gunk to build up in your engine, Shell gasoline stops gunky buildup to help your car perform at its best.
In the winter of 2001, the cast and crew of The Sopranos were deep in production of the 4th season. Trouble was, they'd never be finished in time for their traditional January launch. Some shooting delays were unavoidable. Episodes had to be rewritten after 9/11, and one cast member even needed an operation.
Tony Soprano had a back surgery, and that sidelined him for a long time, and they had to rewrite a good chunk of the 4th season to work around that because there was going to be a lot more Paulie in the early episodes, and suddenly they had to come up with other stuff.
Between season 3 and 4, there was a 16-month gap, which was really unprecedented. In fact, the gap was so long they didn't even qualify for the Emmys because they hadn't been on.
It's really tough for people because they expect it to be on a schedule like a normal TV series. But this isn't normal TV. It's like a mini film.
But David Chase wasn't about to rush the episodes through production.
One of the great things about David Chase is that he's such a great writer. One of the bad things is that he's such a great writer that it takes him so long to produce these shows.
Chase is not going to start shooting until he's 100% happy with what he has, and he's usually not 100% happy.
Chase chalked the long hiatus up to a scheduling conflict.
We could have gone on in April, but it's really not the best time. They didn't want to move Sex in the City, so they suggested September. And it's, you know, it's always good to have more time to do things, so we said yeah.
Cast members did their best to promote their long-awaited return.
We asked each other, well, what do you think about the season? And the consensus is, we don't think you're going to be disappointed. So that's good.
While Sopranos devotees waited to judge for themselves, they got their mob family fix on video and DVD. By the beginning of September 2002, home video sales of The Sopranos' first 3 seasons reached $75 million.
The fans really like The Sopranos DVDs. Everyone always asks, when's the next season coming out? They don't want to wait. And they enjoy the commentary tracks and the extras that are on them quite a bit.
Viewers still adore Tony Soprano, But off-screen, James Gandolfini was dealing with love lost.
He was married to Marcy. They had a 2-year-old son, and he left her. He filed for divorce.
I'm sure it was very hard for him, but to have so much fame and acclaim sort of heaped on you all at once after you've been toughing it out, I'm sure that most relationships don't always survive such a change in one's world.
In March 2002, the National Enquirer published an article insinuating that Marcy was talking trash about her soon-to-be ex.
She accused him of drugs. She accused him of philandering. She was very public about what she perceived he had been doing wrong.
Marcy's lawyer responded to the story, insisting that the Gandolfinis were getting along. Meanwhile, James Gandolfini's on-screen son, Robert Eiler, had his own legal conflict. Eiler was due in court for a pretrial hearing on April 22, 2002. The young actor's TV family rallied around him.
He's a good kid, so we've known him long enough to be able to say that he's not a bad kid at all. He's not a tough kid. So I think everything will turn out okay.
Robert is the sweetest guy in the world. I mean, he's the sweetest kid in the world, and he's a wonderful actor. And I just find it so hard to believe that any of that stuff is true.
On April 23rd, Eiler struck a deal with prosecutors. Robert pleaded guilty to petty larceny, and the marijuana possession charge was dropped. The 17-year-old actor received 3 years probation.
You got some big lessons on the price of fame right there. But if you screw up, everyone's going to know about it.
As Robert Eiler's name showed up in headlines across the country, Edie Falco saw her name in lights as the leading lady in Frankie and Johnny in the Claire de Lune.
What Edie Falco did in the summer of 2002 was to appear on Broadway, and she appeared in Frankie and Johnny, playing the role that Michelle Pfeiffer played in the movie version with Al Pacino. It's always shocking to people when she's not Carmela.
Fans of The Sopranos were even more shocked when they saw what Falco was not wearing.
She appeared nude. She decided to take it all off.
It was nerve-wracking, but we took it very slow. The director, Joe Mantello, was very sensitive to the fact that this was something we were nervous about, and we waited until we were actually in the theater, and then we just took it very slow and was very respectful. And now we take our clothes off, we walk around backstage, we're yelling at the prop guy, whatever. You get over it so fast. It's such a big bore to be uptight about it.
It just shows that she's not hung up on her appearance at all. She's just not that vain. She's an actress, and that's what she is, and that's what she cares about.
Federico Castelluccio was full of compliments for his one-time soprano siren.
She was amazing. I mean, and let me tell you, she's nude in the scenes, and she absolutely has a beautiful body. And if she would model for me, I'd love to paint her.
While the Sopranos cast enjoyed their extracurricular activities, fans were getting restless for the long-delayed 4th season. The question remained, would the new episodes be worth the wait? Coming up, the Sopranos Love Fest comes to a screeching halt.
We saw fans beginning to criticize it for being boring.
Need contact lenses? A 5-minute phone call to 1-800-CONTACTS Lens Specialists is all it takes. We'll verify your prescription with your doctor, then send your contacts straight to your door. Call 1-800-CONTACTS. We make it simple.
When kids love a snack, you know it. And this is one kid snack you can love too. NutriPal's bars. They've got great taste and amazing nutrition. 21 vitamins and minerals, and about twice the protein and fiber of the leading bars kids eat. If you're searching for the perfect kid snack, you know where to look. Also look for NutriPal's drinks. Pediasure NutriPal's. Nutritious is now delicious. In the baby toddler aisle.
Never buy a used car without a Carfax Vehicle History Report. Ask your dealer or go to Carfax.com.
Hey guys, Ryan Seacrest in Hollywood. Coming up tonight, 7 o'clock on E! News. Well, K-Fed blows off some steam in Vegas while Britney cheers on the Lakers. Could she have a little thing going on with one of the players? Our cameras were rolling when someone pushed Heidi Klum into a pool. And the hottest new surgery, it's laser liposuction. Tonight at 7.
The girls hit the powder with Shaun White. Seriously, they hit it. An all-new Girls Next Door, Sunday at 10 on E!
Do you know your credit score? Do you know what's in your credit report? You can find out for free right now at freecreditreport.com.
Knowing my credit score helped me save money on my home loan.
Now we can monitor all 3 of our national credit reports every day.
It helps us save money and check for potential identity theft.
Just a few clicks, and I get my credit report and credit score free.
Log on now to freecreditreport.com.
Offer applies with the Roman Triple Advantage.
With Preference by L'Oreal, I fear nothing. The sun, the wind, nothing at all. Thanks to its advanced fade-defying system, my color won't fade out for up to 8 weeks. And with weeks of deep conditioning, your hair won't dry out. Preference by L'Oreal Paris.
What's up, baby?
You need to upgrade. Come on, upgrade.
Still haven't upgraded to Tampax Pearl? With 3 fabulous details, it's our best protection ever.
Now that's an upgrade.
E-News with Ryan Seacrest and Juliana DePandy.
Get the details on your favorite stars and get it here first.
E-News, weeknights on E!
Tell Sophia to be here at 7. See you soon.
Barilla, the choice of Italy. For pasta filled with authentic Italian flavors, try Barilla Tortellini.
Shop for new carpet without ever leaving home. Call Empire today. We'll bring quality brand name samples to your home and expertly measure your rooms. And no waiting for your new carpet. Empire professionally installs next day. Best of all, you'll save with warehouse direct prices plus no payments till April 2008. Shop at home, next day installation, and no payments till April 2008. It's the Empire way to shop for carpet. Call now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
By the fall of 2002, 16 months passed without a new episode of The Sopranos airing on HBO.
Where's everybody?
Fans were impatient, and critics wondered if the reign of Tony Soprano had come to an end. On September 15, 2002, the long wait was finally over. The Sopranos cast convened at Radio City Music Hall in New York to kick off the 4th season.
People have been asking me all year, when are you guys coming back? People, they're going to forget about you guys if you don't hurry up. It looks like nobody forgot about anything. And tonight it feels like we never went away.
I'm glad so I don't have to answer when's it coming back on. I was going to get a T-shirt. September 15th, don't ask me anymore. So I'm happy that it's finally on. People are going to get the Jones in for it, and they're going to get what they want. They won't be disappointed.
The premiere attracted 13.4 million viewers. The big audience marked the first time a premium cable show beat all the competition on traditional broadcast networks.
I'm surprised as many people came back for the start of 4th season as they did. It shows you how much they loved the show in spite of the fact that they got very frustrated waiting for it.
The following month, 3 cast members headed for the lights of Broadway. Jamie Lynn Sigler starred as Belle in Beauty and the Beast.
It's a breath of fresh air to be, come off the Sopranos set and be doing something like this. And I love live theater because the audience is right there and you can watch them enjoy the show. You entertain people, and there's nothing like it.
Then, Lorraine Bracco bared all when she debuted as Mrs. Robinson in a stage version of The Graduate. Bracco sought advice from Edie Falco, who had a nude scene in her production of Frankie and Johnny in the Claire de Lune.
We talked. She was so kind and, so confident that I would do well and that could do it. And the nude thing is, it's just really, it ended up for me being the easiest part of the whole thing. I was stunned. I'm more panicked about knowing what door to get out of and that I don't miss a cue. I just have to be careful not to laugh.
Soon after Falco left Frankie and Johnny, her Sopranos co-star Joe Pantoliano joined the Broadway cast. The actor also dropped trout.
Joey No Pants now, apparently, is what they're calling it. Well, he was naked in the 4th season. I mean, he was showing you his ass. He was showing you everything, ultimately. So there's not that much, left that we hadn't seen. It was cheeky in every sense of the word.
James Gandolfini had nothing to hide either. On October 16, 2002, a spokesman for the 41-year-old actor responded to the tabloid reports about his substance abuse. Publicist Dan Cloris admitted that Gandolfini once battled cocaine and alcohol addiction, but insisted the actor had been clean for years.
He tried to sweep this under the rug as quickly as possible and to not give merit to any of the accusations, and thus they settled it very quickly.
1 month later, Gandolfini went to divorce court with his estranged wife, Marcy. The couple quickly reached a confidential settlement, and Gandolfini avoided a nasty trial.
It's been reported that he settled it for millions of dollars, and it was probably in his best interest because the public attention that he was getting was so negative. It was probably in his best interest to just put this thing to bed.
Meanwhile, fans of The Sopranos were not thrilled with the series.
Season 4 was probably the most criticized of any of the seasons. A lot of people were really disappointed.
Where's the violence? The violence that had been criticized in the earlier seasons. They were looking for more drama. They were looking for more sex. They were looking just for more excitement.
Ultimately, what it was about was the relationship between Tony and Carmela.
A lot of people watch the show because they want to see somebody get whacked, they want to see somebody get beat up, and the fourth season did not have a lot of violence, and so they were disappointed.
Even those who appreciated the brutal murder of Ralphie found other objections to season 4.
There were some pacing problems, some stories went on too long, but I think they really made up for it with that last episode where Tony and Carmela split up, because that features two of the best performances I've seen anywhere in movies or TV or on the stage, and that was just incredible.
Critics celebrated the heart-wrenching drama of the season finale in December 2002. But some fans felt gypped.
A lot of people found the season finale unsatisfying. There was a lot of talk. You know, one of the fun things about watching The Sopranos is to guess, oh, who's going to get whacked next? No one got whacked in the season finale.
That's the way it goes. I mean, even mobsters aren't killing people every day, I don't think.
When the TV mobsters were not committing murder, others were. And some claim The Sopranos was their inspiration. Coming up.
It's unfortunate, though, that someone will take something from a TV show and then try and copycat it.
Are our SUVs as much fun as our bikes?
You think you can handle it?
Can you? Introducing the all-new Suzuki XL7 midsize crossover SUV. It's going to be a great ride. Get 0% financing with no payments till July.
Can your sleek hair weather the weather? Garnier Fructis Sleek and Shine Leave-In Conditioner. The fortifying system with fruit micro-oils makes hair 5 times stronger and 5 times smoother with all-day frizz control. Garnier Fructis Sleek and Shine. Garnier.
Your smile says that you're happy, confident. But if you're uncomfortable with your teeth, your smile could be saying just the opposite. Fortunately, there's Invisalign, the clear alternative to braces that's comfortable and removable for eating and brushing. Straighten your teeth little by little until a new smile emerges. Join the millions at Invisalign.com and arrange a free, no-obligation consultation with an experienced Invisalign provider. And let the world see the real you. Invisalign. Learn how to smile again.
Imagine knowing you're pregnant the moment it happens. Science is getting close. They found a hormone variant that better predicts early pregnancy. First Response detects it. It tells you 5 days before your missed period. First Response, discovering ways to tell you first.
I'm Joel McHale from The Soup, a show People magazine has given 3 out of 4 stars for our coverage of celebrity news, reality television, and all things pop culture. I don't know what we have to do to get that 4th star, so let's start with threats of shaving this chihuahua.
Yeah! Watch The Soup, 3/4 of the way to People magazine's definition of perfect. Fridays at 10 on E!
Give me that 4th star, People magazine, before I shave something you do care about. Get in here, Katie Couric!
Susan? Honey?
It's the extra creamy ice cream you don't have to feel guilty about. Double churn from Breyers. Our light ice cream never tasted so good.
Sweetie, this meal was so good. That salmon was cooked perfectly. Is that clogged again?
New chocolate-dipped Altoids. Curious?
The girls and guys of Vegas have been on a wild ride, but nothing lasts forever, even in paradise. Don't miss the season finale of Paradise City, Sunday at 10:30 on E!
Despite rumblings from fans about an unsatisfying fourth season, The Sopranos was still a ratings winner. Season 4's final episode attracted 12.5 million viewers, making it the second most watched show in HBO history. But The Sopranos' impact on society came under attack. On January 19, 2003, the cast of The Sopranos attended the Golden Globes. The show received 3 nominations, bringing its total to 17 in 4 seasons. At the ceremony, Edie Falco won for Best Actress in a TV Drama.
I'm not good at guessing these things, so I was very surprised.
Just 8 days later, The Sopranos got a heavy dose of reality. On January 27th, 2 Orange County teens admitted to killing their mother and trying to cover their tracks by chopping off her head and hands. The duo claimed they learned the technique from the Sopranos episode featuring the gruesome murder of Ralphie. Both brothers were convicted and sentenced to prison terms. HBO didn't release a statement in response to the murder, but the network showed its support for the series and the cast with pay increases.
We're going to see season 5, that much we know.
But when filming resumed, producer David Chase announced a surprise.
We've signed for a 6th season.
We just heard that today. Yes. How does that feel?
Good. I love it.
That summer, the TV gangsters had a real bash to celebrate. On July 11, 2003, 22-year-old Jamie Lynn Sigler wed her 32-year-old manager, A.J. DeScala. In September, the annual Emmy Awards brought mixed blessings. Despite 3 previous nominations without a win, The Sopranos again lost the coveted drama series honors to perennial favorite, The West Wing. Pantoliano, Falco, and Gandolfini won acting Emmys, but James was openly frustrated.
My work has been acknowledged already, and it's time for everyone else's work to be acknowledged, and I wish that had happened.
Offstage, Gandolfini's love life made news. In January of 2004, he announced his engagement to former director's assistant, Laura Somoza. No wedding date was given. Then in September, the family finally did it. At the 2004 Emmy Awards ceremony, Michael Imperioli and Dre DiMatteo won supporting honors, and The Sopranos captured the drama series prize.
I was so excited. I said, I'm going tonight. I'm coming out here because we're going to win. And if we don't, there's going to be bloodshed.
The celebration did not continue for James Gandolfini. In early 2005, the actor and his fiancée, Laura Somoza, ended their engagement. There was better news in May. HBO announced that 8 more episodes of The Sopranos would be produced after season 6. Cast members were elated.
This show gave me a lot, personally, professionally. I'm forever indebted to it and grateful for it, and so I will always be there for the show.
Meanwhile, Jamie Lynn's 2-year marriage crumbled. In September 2005, she split with husband A.J. DeScala for good. The following March, 21 months after their last show aired, The Sopranos Season 6 premiered with a bang.
That's true. You got 2 words, dark and sad. Woohoo!
A lot of surprises tonight. Bada bing.
In fact, the first episode ended with a shocker. Tony Soprano got hit.
It's juicy. It's good stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's worth the wait.
In July 2006, there were 7 more Emmy nominations.
The nominations in the drama series category are The Sopranos.
The cast also began filming their last 8 episodes.
But yes, it is winding down. It's going to be quite bittersweet, but it's been a fun ride.
What's next for TV's favorite Goomba gang? Year after year, this series went to sleep with the fishes, then came back to life. Executive producer David Chase says he may revive The Sopranos again on the big screen.
I hope he does a movie. Convince him. Tell him to do a movie.
I mean, I think about it fairly often, but I haven't come to any conclusions, really.
In the meantime, this is one mob family that refuses to get whacked.
Tony Soprano takes matters into his own hands, and he's a outlaw, you know? And there's something sexy about that.
They've raised the bar, period.
What do you think, I'm a clown?
No.
I amuse you?
No.
What are you, a wise ass?
No.
Just want to make sure you're not no Dr. Donnie Brasco on me.
No, I'm not. No one would ever know.
It's about making money. We're all about business, right? Why can't we just work in this together, all right?
Let's go back to the casino.
Oh, we don't want to leave yet. I mean, it's comfy in here.
Oh, I think that you're just very sexy when you're counting all that money.
You're in my club now, Bob. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Guy's a moron. I'll make him an offer he can't confuse. Don't worry about it.
What do you got? Take it. I got this. Oh, get the out.
Hollywood, the stars, the magic, the murder. For the next 2 hours, we'll retrace the most horrifying murders that helped make this town infamous. Crime scenes, forensic experts, celebrity friends.
Choked her unconscious, banged her head on the floor.
And perhaps the most chilling, the killers themselves.
You people just don't understand.
Jesus.
What really happened may surprise you.